Today, we're talking about the thinker. And the thinker is trying to outthink the casino, outgo it, right? Working with probability and math and hybrid style play to sort of, mitigate every possible thing that can go wrong. And today I want to talk to you about thinkers. Okay, we've already gone through this idea of a conservative player who's a more hybrid guy. They're more hedgy. They're going to play more line games. They're short stacking it for the most part, right? They're definitely in love with their money. I always say I want to give my money a hug. I love my money, right? I'm a conservative player. I don't want to lose any of it if I can. Some people though are aggressive and don't care. Have money to burn. I brought 5K to Vegas, bam, trying to light that shit on fire, right? That's fine. If you're an aggressive player, fine, embrace that. But play the right way based on the bankroll that you've got. You can't be aggressive player with $100. You're not going to get anywhere. But again, you're willing to light your money on fire. Today, we're talking about the thinker. And the thinker is trying to outthink the casino, outgo it, right? Working with probability and math and hybrid style play to sort of, mitigate every possible thing that can go wrong to give themselves a chance to win. There are people that you know from our chats that play this way. I'm going to show you kind of a lead-in way that you can approach the game of craps at the very least as a thinker. Okay, so let's get into the mind of the thinker, or I guess I would ask the question: how do you define a thinker? Now, I look at some of the things that I've got laid out here, and I would describe a thinker as somebody who's initially very protective of their bankroll and their bets. You'll see a lot of safety or hedging plays, maybe some opposing bets, that kind of thing. But I think the hallmark of the thinker style is regression. It's transitions. It's about creating opportunity. Really, I classify thinking players, the thinker player, as the ultimate tinkerer or the extreme strategist. And what I mean by that is these guys are using the math of the game. They're using their knowledge of the bets, the payouts, the probabilities, the odds, all of that combined to concoct or create, I hate to say the perfect strategy, but the perfect strategy in a way that lets them play safely in the short run, usually to transition to something different or hammer the table in a longer run. So the thinker, I think, is using a little bit of the math of the game, a little bit of knowledge of short term to their advantage. Now on the craps table, this might translate into something like the squeeze play that you've seen before, or a do we don't play. In roulette, you might see these guys that are playing a lot of numbers, but with a lot of crossover. So there's definitely room for the jumbo bet, right? The jackpot payment, but really they're trying to hedge things out and cover more of the board than usual with the intent of lowering back down and doing something different. In blackjack, I think these are the card counters. I think most people would classify themselves playing blackjack as a normal player playing through the basic strategy card, as it were. You can be aggressive or conservative on basic strategy, but if you're thinking and you can count the cards, now you elevate that to a different level. And you may take more advantage of things like the insurance, right? That kind of stuff as you're going through, because you're well aware of the thickness of that shoe. So the thinkers, I think, just take the game to a slightly different level. Now, that's not to say that other players aren't thinkers. I think thinkers are more tinkerers. And again, they're always trying to like they're trying to play chess with the craps table. They're trying to do everything possible to give themselves the best chance to not lose, be in a spot where they can win and then take advantage of it. Where others are more mechanical in their conservative or their aggressive play. Anyway, let's go to the table. I want to go to the craps table here. I want to show you a couple of things that I think speak to what a tinkerer or the thinker might try as part of their craps play. One of the classic thinker plays is getting a don't pass bet out in craps. So for example, the don't pass is a tough one, right? 22% of the time or so, you're going to lose this bet. You're going to lose to the 7, 6 ways to roll it, and the 8, 2 ways to roll that. So a lot of guys who are like to tinker around know that when it's here, right? When that's on a point, you're the huge favorite. You're a 60% average favorite to win this bet. And it pays even money. That's like the best thing in the casino right there. But getting to this point is really tough. So what you'll see guys do is things like, we'll lay the 10 for $50 on the come out roll. What that means is it'll cost you $1 to make the bet, but Ultimately, if you roll a 7 on the come out, this will pay $25. When you lose that bet, you just try it again. This is a nice way to kind of mitigate some of that 7 exposure. There are times where your 10 will get picked off, and that's, I guess, part of the game, right? You'll also see players do this. They'll place the 11. One roll bet. You're going to give up $2 to save this bet. Now you can't lose. This bet here cannot lose. You're guaranteed to either lose $2 on any number being set as a point or lose $50 here on the 10. That's a classic way to kind of get out. And you can even, if you wanted to go hardcore, go grab the hard 10 for $10 or hop the hard 10 for $1 to win 30, right? This way you're giving up $3 every time the point's being set. That's just a way to mitigate some of the loss coming out. And again, that's a thinker way of looking at it. Protecting every single bet, making sure the worst possible case is you lose a couple of bucks and they come out. Okay, we'll revisit that here in a minute on a bigger scale, but that's a classic way to get a don't pass bet out. Another classic, I think, tinker kind of move is this, the do we don't. Because here you have this option of, I'd like to have a pass line bet get through, but again, that can lose to the 2, 3, or 12. This one loses on the 7 or 11. With both of them in place, you really kind of can't lose. You can lose here. If a 12 comes, you would lose the pass line and you tie. That's what the bar means. You tie on that one. That's the 1 out of 36 case that you'll do it. If you want to protect that, dollar on the 12, we'll keep you safe there. But this play is made, again, it's kind of a transitional phase play, right? They're doing this because really what they want is those bets to be the carrier pigeon for their odds. The odds are the best payouts in the house. There's no house edge on the odds. So let's say we set a point of 10. The tinkerer or the thinker is going, hey, I got the hammer over here. Let's take that and let's do our max odds. Let's go ahead and drop 150 in odds against that 10. I didn't have to fight the 7 to get here. And now I've got free odds, which is a beautiful thing. The point is a 6 or an 8. They'll take the max odds behind the line, right? Put their money where the most likely thing to happen is, right? The 6 or 8 are great. Let's take odds behind, right? The 4 or 10 are terrible as a point. Let's lay odds against them. So that's another thinker move where they're trying to remove the house edge for the most part, getting paid just on odds and thinking through the rhythm of that play. One of the more popular ways to play recently is a move called the squeeze play from Casino Quest. Here's how it looks. We're going to do 220 inside. That's 50-50, 60 and 60. And the thinker move here is this. This is going to take some math. And the folks who came up with this thought about all the math to make the bets work perfectly. Check this out. If you catch an inside hit here, it's going to pay $70, like so. What we do with the $70 is split it in half, 35 to the 4, 35 to the 10. Now everything pays $70. So on the second hit, you're going to get paid again $70. And what we do, here's where the thinker move comes in. Take the original money off the table. Boom. Back in your rack that goes. You are safe. Everything out here now is money in your hand. Let's take it out. We have $140. How that works out, we'll go 110 inside, and we'll take 15 each on the 4 and 10. And now we're playing 140 across. A great bet. I love 140 across. It's a great starting point, especially when you're free and clear. Again, the thinker uses the math of the 2 combined payments on 2 rolls or 2 hits of the dice to make this happen. Now they're playing for free, quote unquote, with opportunity to hammer the table, and they're totally safe. They save their money. That's the squeeze play. Similar to that, one of my favorite plays at the low bankroll level is the skill 66. It looks like this. You're going to have 3-unit bets on the inside numbers. So it's $66 inside. On any one hit, it pays $21. You add $1 from your rack. Press them all by 1 unit. Here's the magic. Watch this. We're going to go ahead and get paid $28. If I take my bets back from where I started, we'll take the 3 units from each bet off the table that we started with. There's our $66 that we began the roll with. I'm going to put this all back in the rack. And again, just like the squeeze play, we're safe. Everything out here is considered profit. How much profit? Well, there's 5 in white. There is $25, 50 bucks. So in 2 hits, you make 50 bucks, which is pretty cool. You can go back out here and play at 44 inside if you like. Come to the DC if you like to transition to dark side. You can pocket the 50 bucks, or if you had started the roll like the other guy did, right? Let's say you had a $10 do we don't, and the point was 10, that 50 bucks becomes your odds on the 10. Now they're truly free odds, where they're not only no house edge, but they were paid for by the winner. You've moved from A to B. Again, a thinker kind of strategy is looking to transition a lot of times from something with a decent amount of risk, but usually protected in some way, into a more aggressive play later. Again, thinking through every payment, every possibility. And I'll close with you with one more. Let's do this. Let's have a big one. Let's do a big money play. $900. Oh my gosh, on the 9. $900 on a lay 9. 500 bucks on the don't pass. 50 bucks on the 11. What's going to happen here? Okay, well, if we roll a 7 on our come out with the puck off, you lose 500 bucks. You lose 50 bucks from the 11. $900 lay 6 pays 600 bucks. I'll actually pay it in greens. It pays 600 bucks. Your don't pass goes back, your 11 goes back, 50 bucks goes to your rack. That's, again, mitigating that initial come out fear. If the 11 comes, you lose 500 bucks, but 50 times 15 is, guess what? It's 750. 750. In that case, 500 goes back, 250 goes to the rack, and off you go to the races. Pretty cool. We catch a point that's not a 9. Now the 9 would suck. The 9 would take 900 bucks. You got to do some work here. But let's just say we get a point like a 10. Well, these come down. Don't need the odds anymore. That goes back to your rack. Although I will keep the 600 of it out. We're going to take this 600 and make it look like this. I'm going to take that. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 500. I'll get change here. $60 change. $40 here for 20 and 20. We'll go 540 across. And what ends up happening in this particular case is you have 540 across. You've lost your 50 bucks getting the point set. 500 bucks here. So you're basically out 90 bucks at this point. Let's take a hit. Whatever number rolls up in here, maybe the 4 pays 200 bucks, but the rest of them pay 140. And let's do 100, and we'll do it like this, 140 bucks. Like so. Well, guess what? All this comes back. Like all these other plays, it all comes back to your rack. So you're safe. You can come out here like so. 110 inside. Grab the 4 for 15 bucks. Put the other $15 in your rack as profit on that roll. Now you have a huge bet against the 10. You're playing across for free. What I'd probably do here is take that 10 and place it or buy it for 300 bucks. If a 7 comes, whatever, you lose money that, again, free money, paid for by a win. You'd win 200 bucks here, or you'd win 500 here, lose 3, up 2. If the 10 comes, that's fine. These bets are unaffected. You'd lose 5, but you'd win 6. And again, the thinker, playing chess, right? Moving everything around, always looking at a way to hedge, protect, keep yourself safe, playing for opportunity. That's the thinker piece, right? And again, not everybody plays that way. Right? We've seen the aggressive and the conservative players come out here with a more straight up style of bet and just kind of rhythmically press or collect over and over again. There's not a lot of chess being played there. There's some math being played there, and there's some roboticism being played there, but the thinker is taking that part for later. They're thinking through the early phase, trying to give themselves the best chance they can to hammer the table. So there's a couple of thinker plays that I think make pretty good sense as you're going through it. So in recapping some of that, the thinker, again, I think is using odds, probabilities, math, payouts, and bet sequencing to keep themselves, as we see on screen here, protecting their bets most of the way through until they can create opportunity. They're transitioning most of the time. And like I said before, this doesn't mean that other players aren't thinkers, right? And I want to make sure that we're honest about that. These players are tinkering around. They're using extreme strategy to keep things kind of in place, playing that chess game on the craps table to get to the point where they then turn into a conservative or aggressive or whatever kind of rhythmic play after this first phase. So to me, they're thinking about the game in two phases. The thing that the thinkers bring to the table and give to themselves, I think, is an extreme knowledge of the game. As you're learning how to tinker with bets, your knowledge of the game, because you have to play around with what hedges what pays what, where are the VIGs. All the pieces of the game have to come together for you to devise strategies that look like that. That increases your knowledge in the game. That increases your ability to capitalize on a variant. That increases your grasp of theory of the game that you're trying to craft a quote unquote tinkering or thinking kind of strategy for. And I think that gives you a leg up, right? As you advance and evolve in your play, whether it's craps or other games, starting out or growing into the thinking phase really cements your knowledge. And from that point on, springboard. You can take these types of strategies and again, make them even more complex or more thoughtful, or start to eschew them a little bit and do different things. Anyway, thinkers are very, very interesting, a very interesting phase of your life to be in. And again, sometimes you're going to play a thinking type strategy versus other times in your life playing more aggressive or conservative strategies. It depends on what your goals are at the table. Remember, all this has to match your goal, and your bankroll has to support whatever you're doing. Whatever you're doing back there, your bankroll had better darn well supported. So there it is. There's a good look at the thinker mentality as it relates to the psychology of gambling. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. Please feel free to leave us a comment here in the comment section for the video, but really better still, join us on Discord. Go to casinogaming.tv and hit the community link in the menu there and join our Discord. That's where me, other YouTubers, and all of our subscribers hang out. We sit there and talk strategy and just BS kind of all day long. It's a great way to get connected and stay connected and kind of interact with the team, learn about meetups and get-togethers and all that kind of stuff. So with all that said, again, thanks for watching. I really appreciate your time. God bless you, and I will see you in the next one.